And welcome back to our journey through the Bible. Today, we're diving into Joshua chapter 21, a chapter that beautifully illustrates God's faithfulness down to the very last detail. After the incredible conquest of Canaan and the division of the land among the 12 tribes, there was one very important group left to consider, the Levites. Unlike the other tribes, the Levites were not given a single large territory. Their inheritance was different. They were the priests, the teachers, the spiritual guides of Israel. Their role was to serve God and the people, scattered throughout the nation to be a constant spiritual presence. So, how would they be provided for? The scene opens at Shiloh, the spiritual heart of Israel at the time. Heads of the Levite families approach the leadership: Eleazar, the priest, Joshua, and the tribal leaders. They remind them of God's command, given long ago through Moses. The Lord commanded that you give us towns to live in, with pasture lands for our livestock. This wasn't a last-minute request or an oversight. This was part of God's divine plan from the beginning. The people of Israel, in obedience, began the process of allotting towns to the Levites from their own inheritances. This was a direct fulfillment of prophecy and a testament to God's meticulous care for His people. The process was done by casting lots, a way of seeking God's will in the decision. The Levites were descended from Levi, one of Jacob's 12 sons. Levi himself had 3 sons, Kohath, Gershon, and Merari. The allotments would be distributed among these 3 major clans. The first lot fell to the Kohathites. Within this clan, a special group was singled out first: the descendants of Aaron the priest. Remember, Aaron was a descendant of Kohath, and his line was chosen for the high priesthood. They received 13 towns from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. Think about the strategic placement here. These tribes were situated around Jerusalem, the future religious and political center of the nation. It makes perfect sense that the priests would be located in this crucial area. Among these towns was a very special one, Kiriath Arba, also known as Hebron. In the hill country of Judah, this city has a rich history, being connected to Abraham. Hebron was designated as one of the 6 cities of refuge. These were sacred places where someone who had accidentally caused another's death could flee for safety and receive a fair trial, protected from any avenging relatives. It was a divine system of justice and mercy. Along with Hebron, the priests received cities like Libnah, Jattir, and Anathoth, 13 towns in total, each with its surrounding pasture lands for their livestock. Next came the rest of the Kohathite clans, those not descended from Aaron. They were allotted 10 towns from the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Again, we see a city of refuge among them, Shechem, located in the hill country of Ephraim. Shechem was another city with deep historical roots, a place of covenant and promise. In total, the Kohathites received 23 towns, a significant provision for their service. Then, the lot was cast for the Gershonite clans. They received 13 towns from the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the other half-tribe of Manasseh. Located in the northern part of Canaan, their allotment also included a city of refuge, Golan in Bashan. This ensured that the system of refuge and justice was accessible throughout the land, from south to north. The Gershonites were now established with their own towns and pasture lands to support them as they served the Lord. Finally, it was the Merarite clan's turn. They were the remaining Levites, and they received 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. These territories were primarily located east of the Jordan River and in the northern region of Zebulun. Their portion included Ramoth in Gilead as a city of refuge, for another safe haven on the eastern side of the Jordan. This completed the distribution. Let's tally it up. 13 towns for the priests, 10 for the rest of the Kohathites, 13 for the Gershonites, and 12 for the Merarites. That makes a grand total of 48 towns, each with its surrounding pasture land. given to the tribe of Levi. These towns were spread all across Israel, ensuring that every region had access to the spiritual leadership and teaching of the Levites. God's plan wasn't just to give them a place to live. It was to strategically place them where they could best serve His purpose and His people. Now, the chapter concludes with one of the most powerful and reassuring summaries in the entire Old Testament. 2. After all the battles, all the divisions, and all the allotments, the author gives us this magnificent conclusion. First, so the Lord gave Israel all the land He had sworn to give their ancestors, and they took possession of it and settled there. The promise made to Abraham centuries earlier, a promise that seemed impossibly distant at times, was now a tangible reality. The land was theirs. Second, the Lord gave them rest on every side, just as He had sworn to their ancestors. After years of slavery in Egypt, 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, and 7 years of intense warfare in Canaan, Israel was finally at peace. The struggle was over, and they could now enjoy the fruits of God's promise. And finally, the ultimate statement of God's faithfulness. Not one of their enemies withstood them. The Lord gave all their enemies into their hands. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. Every single one. Let that sink in. From the grand promise of a nation and a land to the specific details of providing for the Levites, God kept His word. Joshua 21 is more than just a list of towns. It's a divine audit, a final report showing that God's account is perfectly balanced. He promises, and He delivers. This chapter is a profound reminder for us today. The God of Joshua is our God. The promises He makes in His word are just as reliable, just as certain. Though our battles may look different and our promised land may be eternal, His faithfulness remains the same. Just as He provided for every tribe, every clan, and every family, He provides for us. Not one of His good promises will ever fail. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive into Joshua 21. It's a powerful story of fulfillment and divine provision. If this message encouraged you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. Until next time, hold on to His promises, because every single one will be fulfilled.